Hello everyone, this is Gw2 speaking. After the heatwaves have managed to burn down my old trusty laptop, I had to get a new one. So it works now and I can proceed with testing. This build here I'm using right now is kind of an offensive support build, focusing on damage and control. This build would work in the old world, but in the new one should be more efficient. Pure Berserker with key traits of Blinding Dissipation, Power Block with Shattered Concentration, and well, Hall of Inspiration line. The computer is new, but the operator, that is me, is rusty like hell. So let's proceed. Okay, so first fight, Longbow Ranger. I should never ever lose against a Longbow Ranger because I've got reflex. But as you can see, I'm really rusty. I've missed my Warden timings and the Ranger was able to get an upper hand on me. And afterwards I haven't managed to notice an animation and I got caught in a tangle. Under those circumstances there was only one thing I could have done. Disengage and hide in tower. A marvelous beginning, indeed. To be completely honest, in Gw2 a lot of 1v1s is about who makes the first move and who has the better position and who has the better build. By better, I mean whose build counters the other's one the better. In this particular situation, my build counters the Ranger better, simply because I've got reflex. I've got a better position because I can hide in a tower, and in those circumstances Ranger cannot kite me. I am a melee range mesmer, he is a ranged Ranger. So the result was expected. Lesson from this, know when to disengage and not return again. I disengaged to the tower, he could have not returned and fought me at the camp. Okay, so on to the fight with an engineer. In my eyes, engineer is also a melee class, or at least a short-ranged one, and one thing I have learned is never to fight an engineer under the turrets. But reflects are able to nullify the advantage from the turrets, and being Berserker, the new mesmer is able to deal quite a lot of damage. Okay, so this build definitely works against 1v1s and against enemies which are reflectable. But how will this variant of a power build work against something which looks like a guardian defending a keep? Looking at the damage I dealt, it seems this one has some deafness at least, and this confirms the observation. Berserker Mesmer currently deals quite nice damage. Now here, I'm using Power Block as a trait, but I'm not using it for damage, even if it is really nice, but for the disabling of skills. And Weakness, one thing which is always underrated. Weakness and Poison are two things which are completely underrated and insanely powerful. When I fought the Ranger, I wanted to be in close confines with him because I was more melee than he was. But in this fight against the Guardian, I want to be in range against him. In this regards, the area we are fighting at is really uncomfortable for me. When the Ranger came, I had to port away and return later, and the fight turned into two Rangers and Guardian versus me and T. In my absence, she did manage to down the pesky Guardian, but enemy Ranger did a really nice move. He used some skill which gave him stability, or something emulating stability, so it was impossible for me to interrupt him. That way he got the Guardian up, and this one by swirling was able to down with my low hit points. Well played, guys, so it was life for life. This fight is very interesting. We use our usual approach of charge in and destroy everything, yet it turns against us. 3 enemies here, Engineer, Ranger and a Warrior. Although we are able to dispatch the Ranger rather quickly, enemy Warrior generates quite a lot of damage in terms of power damage, and enemy Engineer generates a lot of condition damage. Please look at the party hit points. What happened now was completely unexpected. Now, what you see here is a complete paradigm shift in World vs. World from before the patch. Before the patch, World vs. World was slower. Active defenses are even more important than ever right now, which means that you need to rely on your blocks, invisibilities. I mean, right now, Blinding Dissipation saved me. If the Warrior hit me, I would be downed. This means a lot in terms of build making. Earlier on, it was completely possible to create a build which had parts of control, parts of support, parts of damage. As you can see, my build doesn't excel in absolutely anything right now. Too delicate for pure support, not enough control, and not enough damage. And, as you can see, not enough defenses to be able to survive in close combat. And all that while being in melee with opponents. This is kind of a problem, really. Something has changed in World vs. World, and it's not about enemy roamers, it's about build making. And trust me, it's not about Mesmer being underpowered. The closest I can say is, World vs. World becomes closer to SPVP in terms of defined roles. That is, you can have more than one role, but at most 2 of them. And your defenses need to be synchronized with your abilities to fight. I mean, I'm a melee mesmer, but I do not have melee staying power. If I stay in close range, I will be ripped apart. But to deal damage, I absolutely need to do that. So even if this fight is really a nice one, and I like watching it, the build I'm using right now is the weak spot in this particular fight. Imagine I went pure DPS meta mesmer. Definitely we would be able to deal more damage, and I think we would be able to do more, because we would pressure the opponents and we would kill the NPCs faster. This also applies to the fight with the Guardian earlier, and the one with Ranger and Engineer as well. The elements of support and control I am able to deliver are not enough, and the damage I am able to deal is simply too incidental. So this build works very well, but it's kind of a dueling build. Still, it was a very fun fight to watch and record, but my conclusion is quite simple. In the current world versus world, a melee mesmer absolutely needs to have stealth. On top of that, if you go damage all the way. So staff and sword focus does not work with Berserker, and definitely not without stealth. Thanks for watching, Oxalis out.